If you've ever Googled your body shape, you followed all the rules, but your outfits still look off, then this video is for you. Because here's the biggest secret that people don't tell you, or you don't tend to see in other videos. Body shape alone is not enough to ensure that your clothes fit you in the most flattering way. And as a style coach, knowing this has changed the way that I dress and shop forever. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if you're new here, then my name is Fatima. And today's video is step one, the foundation video that you need to know before determining what your true body shape is. Now, this video is not going to be about what you should wear for each body shape. This will follow in a couple of weeks where I'm going to do an individual video for each of the 5 body shapes where I will go into a lot more detail. However, like I said, this is the foundation that you need to know before you go to that stage. So in this video, you will learn about your body shape, how to determine which body shape you are. But you will also, in addition to that, learn about your vertical body shape, so to balance your proportions, and also your lateral body shape, and that's your body shape from a side view. So that's all the individual variations that we may have as unique people that will also affect how clothes look on you. Let's start with the body shape that you're most likely to be familiar with, and that's your horizontal body shape. This focuses primarily on the measurements of the width of certain parts of your body. To determine your body shape, you need to measure 3 separate parts of your body. First, around the width from one shoulder to the other. Second, around the slimmest part of your waist. And third, around the widest part of your hips. And it's the relationship between these numbers which reveals the body shape. Another really simple way of determining your body shape is by taking a photograph of yourself or in front of the mirror. Make sure that you're wearing tight fitting clothing or you're in your underwear, and then just by looking at those 3 individual areas visually, your shoulders, your waist and your hips, you will probably already be able to determine your body shape just by, again, visually looking at the variations between those 3 areas. Whilst there are different body shapes, most women fall within 5 different body shapes, but it's really important to point out that not everybody fits perfectly into one body shape, and that's when proportion comes into play, as does the lateral body shape, but I will talk about them later. Let's first go into the horizontal body shape, which is likely to be the one that you're most familiar with. So we have the triangle or pear shaped, and this is when your shoulders are likely to be narrow in comparison with your hips. You tend to have a well-defined or a moderately well-defined waist, and you wear a smaller size on your top half and a larger size on your bottom. An oval or an apple shape, you tend to have rounded and often sloping shoulders. You tend to carry most of your weight around your tummy area, and you tend to have lovely shapely legs and an average or a generous bust. For an hourglass, your shoulders are about the same width as your hips. You have a clearly defined waist, and you wear almost the same size on your top and bottom. For the inverted triangle, your shoulders are wider in comparison with your hips. You tend to have slender hips and a straight waist and long lean legs. You wear a larger size on your top and a smaller size on your bottom. And finally, the rectangle shape, where your bust, waist and hips are all quite similar measurements. You tend to have very little waist definition and not a lot of curve, and this creates a look that is fairly straight up and down. You have a straight shoulder line, straight torso, and you tend to also have a flat bottom, and you may consider yourself to have a boyish frame. Now let's move on to the second step, which looks at your vertical measurements and to determine the proportions of your body. There are actually a number of different measurements that can be taken to determine your body shape, but for simplicity, you can determine your proportions by comparing the combined length of your torso against the combined length of your legs. This will help you determine whether you have a shorter torso with longer legs, whether you have a balanced ratio of your torso and your legs, or whether you have a long torso and shorter legs. Another quite simple way of determining whether you have a short or a long torso is just simply by placing your hands palm facing inwards, the first hand under your bust and then the second hand directly under that hand. Now, if you have quite a large gap between the end of your second hand and your belly button, you're likely to have a longer torso and shorter legs. If second hand covers your belly button, you're likely to have a shorter torso and longer legs. And if your second hand pretty much reaches your belly button, you're likely to have a balanced proportion of your torso and your leg length. Understanding your body proportions in addition to your body shape is extremely important, because you can have two people with exactly the same body shape, however their proportions may be different, so the clothes are not going to look the same on these two individuals even though they have the same body shape. So let's take me as an example. I'm typically a hourglass shape, which means basically that the width measurement of my shoulders to my hips is roughly the same, and I have a well-defined waist. However, when I look at my vertical proportions, I have a longer torso and shorter legs. So that will look very different for somebody that's a hourglass that has a shorter torso and longer legs. So for example, if I was to wear the top tucked out and placed over my jeans or my trousers, this is going to elongate my torso even more and shorten my legs even more, because the physical break is where the kind of waist almost sits. So my torso is going to look even longer because the break of the clothing elongates that area, and my legs are going to look even shorter because my leg length is almost going to start from where that top ends. However, if I was to wear a high-waisted pair of trousers or jeans, tuck my top in, for example, my waist will start a lot higher up. So this is going to elongate my legs and balance out my long torso to look shorter, creating a much more balanced silhouette. Now this would be very different for somebody who's an hourglass that has a shorter torso and longer legs. So for those people, they would be better off with a mid-rise or lower waisted jeans, so that shortens their leg, and they could leave their top tucked out, which would create a longer torso, or even tucking their top in because their jeans or their trousers have started lower down. This will automatically and visually elongate their torso, again balancing their overall silhouette out. And then the final step that needs to be taken account of is your lateral body shape, and that's looking at your body from a side view. The aim of that is to identify the variations in your individual body shape by looking almost at a 360 observation. Now these are the body variations that don't fit into your standard body shapes, and they could include a petite bust area, a flat bottom, longer arms, shorter arms. Even if you're pregnant or if you have a disability, it's all those variations that do also need to be taken account of when we look for the right clothes to suit our overall silhouette. And therefore, to truly dress our best, we need to take account of all the 3 steps that I've talked through today. Let's have a quick recap. Step 1 is the front-facing silhouette, which is characterized as one of the 5 horizontal body shapes. And the main aim of this is to create an hourglass body shape. The proportions of our vertical body shape determine the balance of our proportions, so whether we have a short torso and longer waist, or whether we have a long torso and shorter waist. And the final step is our lateral body shape, which looks at our bodies from a side point of view to identify the individual variations. This may seem a little confusing at the moment, but I promise you, when I go through my videos where I kind of dedicate one video per body shape, these will become a lot more easy to follow, because not only will I go through your body shape, but I will also talk about tips and give you a lot of visual representations on how to dress for your proportion and for your lateral body shape as well. So dressing will become a lot more easier. Shopping for clothes will become a lot more easier. And if 2026 is your reset year where you want to feel better about yourself, where you want to feel a lot more confident, then this will be a really good step to start that process, because I truly believe that clothes make a massive difference how we feel about ourselves and impact our day-to-day lives. So guys, please do join me for that. And if there are any family members or any friends that you have that are struggling with their bodies, on how to dress, they feel a little bit down on themselves, then please do share my videos to friends and family also, because I really do think that they will help. Also, I'm going to start the videos, like I said, one per body shape in a couple of weeks. So please do comment below which ones you want to see first, which ones that you struggle with, what body concerns that you have. And the kind of ones that I get the most comments on are the ones that I will kind of do first. So I will base the order of these 5 body shape videos based on what you guys want to see first. So hopefully you will join me for those videos. Please subscribe to my channel, especially if you want to learn a lot more tips like this. I'm going to be doing a lot more styling tips this year, as well as hauls, but I did put it out to you guys to see what you want to see more of. And I know that styling tips was a big thing, and I think especially from kind of my learnings as a style coach, I know that I can share a lot of really useful tips with you. So please do subscribe to my channel, guys. If you like this video, then please do give me a like and also a hype. That would be great. So I know that's a pretty new thing on YouTube, but that all helps to get my video out to different people with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I shall see you again in my next video. Take care. Bye.